Hello and welcome back. It's time for another tutorial, this sort of tag ephemera holder series that I feel as if I'm doing, which I want to do, which is really nice. So this is the original from Tracy's December Daily last year, and it's a very simple tag in a pocket. A tag with a pocket. So we're going to recreate that, and we're going to use the Crafty Cat 50 stack challenge prompts. The next one is blue. Amy drew 50, or is drawing 50 prompts out of a bag, and she got a lot of coloured ones right at the beginning, which was a bit strange, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going with blue. This is what you'll need. This is cardstock and paper to cover the cardstock for the tags and the pocket, and then just 6 sheets of paper. I'll show you in a second. This bottom bit is all optional, so that's what we're going to recreate. I've done a couple already to show you what we're going to make. This is the one we're going to do now. This was the first one I made, and it's a tag with a pocket and some vintage papers on the back of the tag. So that's the basic premise behind this. And then I did like this one. This was using Stamperia paper, but it felt a bit Christmassy to me and maybe not quite vintage enough. So I had this digital from Amity Bloom, this image from Chapter 1 papers. So redid it similarly, but using the more vintage papers. So we're going to do something like this today. So we'll get started. So the first thing you need is either your card or your paper cut to size. I've got my paper cut to size, so that's 3.5 by 6.5 for the main tag. I have got, what have I got? Got this for the pocket, which is 3.5 by 2 3/4, and then for the smaller tag inside I've cut it the other way around. I've got my tag 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put some vintage paper on the back of that one. So I'm going to just go away and not let you watch me glue everything this time. I'm going to glue these all down, get them cut out to size, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back with everything glued and cut out onto lightweight card. It's the same card I've been using, this quite flexible thin card. I don't know what weight it is, but it's not very thick. I want to pop some lace on here. I had to think about this a bit because it was quite easy on these to put this contemporary lace on. I didn't want to cover the blue flower up, so what I've decided to do is to just put this across the top here. I could have put it on the bottom, but I want to stitch round, so that's not going to work too well. I think this will look fine. Just adds a bit of interest. And I'm doing that with white glue to start with, and once that's dry I'm going to just stitch it across with my grey thread, and then I'm going to pop it onto my tag. But the first things first, I'm just going to cut the edges off here because I want a tag shape for this one. They won't all be tag shapes, but this one can be a tag shape. And then for this one, the smaller one, I'm just doing a smaller corner. I don't know what you'd like to call it really. So that's going to go in the pocket like so, and this is going to go on here. So the stitching I'm going to do next is I'm going to stitch round this image, and this image is from a chapter 1 collection called Victorian Ladies, and I've cut it down from a sheet of tags. So I've just cut the image out of the tag. And this image is approximately 2 1/8 by 4 inches. This one worked out really nicely because I had this fussy cut image I could cut out of the paper. And I do really like that, but this is perhaps a little bit simpler. So I'm going to stitch round this edge with straight stitch, and then I'm going to glue it on here, and then I'm going to stitch round this edge with straight stitch. I'm going to stitch across here with straight stitch, and then I'm just going to anchor this at the corner with a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to stitch around the whole of this to, rather than glue the pocket on, I'm going to stitch it on because I can get that nice and close to the edge. So that's what I'm going to do next in that order. Stitch this, glue it on here, stitch round this edge, anchor this at each corner with a little bit of glue once after I've stitched across here, and then go around the whole of that. So I'm going to go away and do that, and then I'll be back. Right, so the stitching's done. This was stitched and glued on, and this was stitched and glued. I'm going to finish this little one first with the tab top. I'm lucky enough to have one of these. Thank you, Kathleen Sundby, so much for that. I use it all the time. And she made a very, very generous gift to me a while ago now, a couple of years ago. So I'm going to pop this on the top like so. Oh. Glue everywhere. And I'm just sort of eyeballing this central. If you haven't got this punch, you can do various other methods, which I'm sure you're well aware of. One would be just a straightforward scrap of paper, which would look quite nice. You could use a circle, cut 2 circles and glue them back to back and put that on. Bit of fabric, all sorts of ways really. Different types of tab punches will work as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is make my little booklet on the back. So I've got here, so I've got 6 sheets of paper cut to size. I'm just going to hold these together. The size of these slightly smaller than the tag. These are 2 5/8 by 5 1/8. I'm just going to cut the tops as I'm holding them, hopefully together. And then I'm just going to zigzag across here. My threads off. So that's just to hold those together, and then those will be glued onto the back of that. Just try and make sure there's nothing peeping out from behind there. So that's our little booklet. You could put the tab over, I think on this one I put the tab on second, it doesn't really matter. So that's that. And that fits into this pocket here. And now we're going to finish off this tag. We're going to decorate it. I used silk flowers. I've got, and I did get some ready. I was going to use these down the bottom here. 3 of those. Just torn these from a battered looking hydrangea. But I thought I'd show you, I thought actually I'd do some alternatives for this, because you might not have silk flowers, you might have a flower punch though. And I have got a punch, this one, any flower punch will do. And I've punched 3 little blue flowers like this. Go. And I'm just going to show you how I shape these. And I haven't got the right implements really. You need a sort of ball shaper, but you can make do with the, not that one, where's it gone? With a sort of pencil end or a rounded end. So I've just got a bit of foam, and I'm just going to do this just in the middle, and that cups that up quite nicely. And then I'm going to use my pointy tool just to curl these out a little bit back down again. Be gentle, but paper is very forgiving. So there, we've curled those a little bit, and I'll just go back to this one, and that's a really nice little flower there. I've already done that one. Maybe we'll have, should we have a pale one or that one? Let's have the darker one. You can do with your fingers as well. So that's that one, and this darker one. So I think those will work at the bottom there. Probably what I would do is, ideally I'd probably use blue, but I'm just going to ink these edges just slightly, just so they show up really. I'm using walnut stain, black soot would have been better, but it's not crucial. Of my foam. I'm just going to glue these on, a bit of white glue. If you're gluing on the silk flowers, you can use white glue for that as well. Takes a bit longer to dry on the fabric, so you just need to be a bit more patient. So that's those, and I've got some Diamante to put in the middle. These are sticky back, but I'm doubling up with the glue just to make sure. I lost one. I've had these, lost 2. I've had these quite a long time. They don't want to come off there. key. There we go. It should dry fairly quickly. And then to finish up the top, the other ones I did, lost my pin. Can you see it? There it is. Yeah, the other ones I did tab tops to match this one, and I put an eyelet and tied a bow in the tab. If you're going to do that, I would suggest you put the bow on the opposite side to whichever side you put the flowers, just because it balances a little bit. But I thought I'd go back and show you a variation, which is this top. So I need to mark the middle, which is here-ish. We're going to put our eyelet in. Got a blue one, but any copper, anything would work, it doesn't matter. I'm just sticking with the blue theme. I've got a bit of fabric here. Sorry, I just need a bit of that. Bit of fabric from an old handkerchief. Oh. And I'm stamping it with a little word stamp. It doesn't have to be particularly accurate. And this is VersaFine Smoky Grey. Just lightly on the other side. This one has popped through, so that'll do for that. And this is going to go through the normal way that you would do a tie top. She says, don't pull it too tight just yet. Leave that loose for a minute, because we are going to put a little bow on it. I can't resist. And I want to poke that through there. I suppose I could have put that on first, really, and that would have been a lot easier. But we'll get there. Let's pull that tight. Tie a little bow here. So that's that, and I will finish that off with a little tiny charm. I probably will neaten this up once I've gone off camera. Let's just see. Probably would put a label down here as well. Should have done that before. I think that'll squeeze in there, so I'm going to do that. And I've got this heart. I'm just going to pin on here. She says. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm not going to fiddle with that on, but that will pin on there and just dangle on there. So if you just bear with me 2 minutes, I'll just finish that off properly, and then I'll show you the finished result. So here we are with finished version, and I've managed to fiddle with that until it sits nicely. This ideally would be a slightly darker blue, but I don't have it. I like the way the silver heart picks up the bling here, so So that's that one. This was the one that I did second. Oh, I've made this one a bit bigger. Never mind. And this one was the first one. And this is sort of developed from the original. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.